Now, the rebel, it kind of shocked me. I looked this up and I thought, I've always been taught, don't dance because you gotta have a dance, That's how we used to tell people, don't dance. They did that. And Brother Paul went to Corinthians. Oh, wait, you're wrong. Brother Paul takes 1 Corinthians 10 and he goes back there to this very picture that we're talking about. What happened when Aaron brought them to worshiping an idol. And he started talking. These things happen as examples for us. So we might not desire evil things that they did. And do not become idolaters as some of them did. As is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to revel. Let us not indulge in immorality as some of them did. And 23,000 fell within a single day. You know what's interesting? The 23,000 who died, if you check the record carefully, are these same ones who rose up to revel. Wow, something must have happened that wasn't very good. They're supposed to be worshiping the one God who says, what? No other gods? No idols? Don't swear. Keep this day. Honor your father and mother. Be faithful to your wife. Let us not test Christ as some of them did and suffer death by serpents in their complaining against God. Do not grumble as some of them did and suffer death by the destroyer. They disappeared from the face of the earth. These things happen to them as an example, and they have been written down as a warning to us upon whom the end of the ages has come. Whenever you do this study that Brother Merle's talking about, you're going to find out something. Don't look for a new future whenever God's going to say something new. This is the last time. In former times He spoke with the prophets, but in the last days He speaks to us through Jesus Christ. You're not going to find anybody new to tell you something. Jesus has already told us something. Okay? The end of the ages has come upon us. We are in the last age. Don't know when. Don't predict it. Don't worry about it. Your end of the age comes when you die, for sure. Therefore, whoever thinks he's standing secure should take care not to fall. Be sure that you're right. And listen, you can make it. You can make it. No trial has come to you, but it's what is human. God is faithful and will not let you be tried beyond your strength, but with the trial He will also provide a way out so you'll be able to bear it. God can help you to be victorious over whatever you do. Therefore, my beloved, and this is how He introduces it, my beloved, avoid idolatry. I'm speaking as to sensible people. Judge for yourselves what I'm saying. It's hard for us because we say, well, we're not idolaters. We're not idol worshippers. Back to this. God's response. With that, the Lord said to Moses, go down at once to your people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt, for they have become depraved. They lowered themselves. They've degraded themselves. They have quickly strayed from the way which thou didst show them. How long ago was it they were slaves? Helpless. And they saw the power of God when the waters opened, the enemy was consumed, and yet they turned away from that God. And they have made to themselves a molten calf, and have adored it, and sacrificed victims to it, and have said, now look, what have they done? Look at that word there. Adored it. I know that some of you young ladies do not mind someone using the word adore. I can tell Mrs. Wilkey, darling, I really adore you. I put you up on a pedestal, but you are not my goddess. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I've said, what did they say? They adored it. These are thy gods, O Israel, that have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. No, they're not. But they said they were. And Joshua, hearing the noise of the people shouting, said to Moses, the noise of battle is heard in the camp. Here Moses and Joshua are coming down from the mountain. They're coming down from the mountain. And what do they hear? Oh, there's a battle going on. We better hurry to help fight. But he answered, it's not the cry of men encouraged to fight, nor the shout of men compelling to flee. But I hear the voice of singers. Somebody's got the stereo high, no? like in our house, our neighborhood? No. And when he came nigh to the camp, he saw the calf and the dancers. And being very angry, he threw the tables out of his hand and broke them at the foot of the mountain. He spent 40 days getting that law, and he said, it's through. Because of what you have done. You're done. I'm done with you. God's done with you. Laying hold of the calf which they had made, he burnt it and beat it to powder, which he stowed into water, and gave them thereof to the children of Israel to drink. Well, they consumed their God. And he said to Aaron, what has this people done to thee, that thou shouldest bring them a most heinous sin? That's a very bad sin, a very grievous sin. What have they done to you? And he answered him, let not my Lord be offended, for thou knowest this people, that they are prone to evil. They are prone to evil? Who made the idol? Huh? They wouldn't have had an idol if Aaron hadn't made them an idol. He is the leader. Very sad, no? Not brave. They said to me, make us gods that may go before us. For as this Moses who brought us out forth out of the land of Egypt, we know not what is befallen him. You were gone, and they said I had to do something. And I said to them, which of you hath a gold? And they took and brought it to me, and I... Do you think Aaron can be trusted? And I cast it into the fire, and this calf came out. Brethren, I want to see that. We'll gather up a bunch of our earrings and we'll throw them in a fire and see. And when it comes out, how can you call it an engraven image? It is what? It is manufactured. You know what I mean the word manu? It's manu. Manufactured is made by hands. It didn't come out. He drew it out. He gave it to a founder. These guys beat it out, and they didn't make pure gold because it was possible to burn it. So they must have put it around a wooden frame. But see, he's lying. Why is he lying? He's afraid again. But he's lying. I'm sorry. He's lying. I think. Do you think?
Yes.
I don't know if I admire him. I don't admire him very much. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, what? And Aaron had stripped them by occasion of the shame of the filth, and had sent them naked among their enemies. Moses looks at his people, and here they are disgraceful in front of the enemies about them, because they're not just dancing, brethren. This is Madonna. This is the black television in America. This is Spanish television in America. This is some of our dancing in the Philippines on television. This is ugly. Because what? They're not clothed. And they're disgraceful before, and that's why he was so angry. You're going to honor God that way? No. I don't think so. Do you? Then standing in the gate of the camp, he said, if any man be of the Lord's side, let him join me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. Is this a serious thing they have done? Yes. What must happen? You must get rid of it. How are you going to get rid of it? This is in the hearts of these people. They're having a great time. They don't have any controls whatever. This is Mardi Gras, brethren. This is Rio de Janeiro. Sorry, but that's how the people act there. That's how they acted then. And he said to them, thus says the Lord God of Israel, put every man his sword upon his thigh. Go and return from gate to gate through the midst of the camp, and let every man kill his brother and friend and neighbor. And the sons of Levi did according to the words of Moses, and there were slain that day about 320,000 men. Very terrible picture, is it not? It's not a small thing, this idolatry. 23,000 people died. And when Brother Paul looks back on history, he said, remember, don't you fall into idolatry. Are you stronger than God? Then you resist God. When the sons of Levi did according to the word of Moses, they were slain that day about 23,000 men. Who did the calf represent in the eyes of Israel? Who would, if you got to ask somebody, who are you worshiping that is? We're not idol worshipers. That's an image of God. We call that Elohim. We call that Yahweh. We got the right name for this God. But was it God? What's wrong with it? You tell me that you could take the great, powerful God, where Stephen will say you can't build a house, put him in, and you could put him inside a little idol? Can you do that? No. We have to think this through. We have to guard our hearts. Did all receive punishment? No. But God said, if the name's not in the book, the name's not in the book. He let some of them live, and he let Aaron serve. But your name's not there. Your name's not there. And the Lord answered him, he that has sinned against me, him will I strike out of my book. Sin of Moses' grandson Jonathan. Now this is kind of an exciting story. And I didn't put all the scriptures up here, so you need to go back and read Judges 17 and 18 for yourself. But this is a fun story. In those days there was no king in Israel, but everyone did that which was right in his own eyes. Okay, now, this is Judges. This is after Moses had brought them to the Jordan River. He dies on the other side, and Joshua leads them in and conquers everything. All right? After Joshua dies, you know what it says? In those days there was not a king. So what do? Well, don't you think? This is it. In religion is don't you think? What do you like? We can do what we want. And so everybody did what was right in his own eyes in those days, because there was no man who stood and said, this is what God wants. Huh? Now, there's a guy named Micah in the land of Ephraim, and he stole 1,100 pieces of silver from his mama. Wow. And he heard her curse, the one who did it. So he came and confessed to his mama, I took it. Huh? He revealed his theft. And she said, oh, that's so wonderful. So she dedicated that money to make the money to God, to make a graven image, a molten image. Now, I like this old lady because she got paid back 1,100 pieces, but she only took 200 pieces to make the image. So she's kind of like some folks today, you know. Yes, God, everything belongs to you, but I'm just going to keep 2 out of 11. I'll just keep all but 4/5 of it. Okay? 4/5 is mine, 1/5 is yours. Okay? But Micah put this idol in his house. He founded it, he made it, and he put it in his house. He also made an ephod. And I had to look that up, what that word ephod means. You know what that's for? Tell me the future. It's a future-telling thing. It's similar to the breastplate that the Jewish priest had. An ephod for foretelling the future, and a teraphim, household god. Now, if you remember the Genesis story, you remember that when Rachel ran away from home, whenever they went back home, you know, with her husband and her 3 wives-in-law, there was 4 ladies married to him, wasn't there, Jacob? So 4 of them. She stole her father's household gods. She stole his teraphim. And evidently they were just this part of the body, like this upper part. And they made them to protect the family. So like the Romans had, but also whoever held the household gods have the certificate of everything that belonged to the family. So she actually stole his deeds. Okay, but see, and made one of his sons a priest. Now look, he's from the tribe of Ephraim. He can't be a priest before God because you've got to be a Levite to be a priest before God under the law of the Jews that this man lived under. But, you know, he's making his own religion. A Levite from Bethlehem, Judah came to Micah's home and was hired to serve his idols. This fellow comes along through something. He's a Levite. He's not got a job. He comes from a good place, Bethlehem of Judea, because that's where our Lord Jesus Christ is going to come from. But he's looking for a job, and he come there, and he agreed to serve the idol. Judges, and Micah said, stay with me, and be unto me a father and a priest, and I will give thee every year 10 pieces of silver, and a double suit of apparel, and your victuals. He was content, and abode with the man, and was unto him as one of his sons. Now I've got a question. Why did this Levite serve before that idol? What do you think? What's the reason? He's controlled by the spiritual things? Is he controlled by his heart? Is he controlled by his head?
It is for the silver.
Is he controlled by his stomach? You think? What do you think?
Yeah.
You all make a judgment on it for me. Which place? Here, here, or here?
Stomach.
He says, this is to my advantage. I'll eat good and I'll dress well. What about serving God? and not serving idol, because you're a Levite. And if I ask you to teach me the law of Moses, and I ask you to repeat the 10 Commandments to me, you're going to have to skip the first 2. Right? Because he's serving in front of an idol. Well, why did the Levites serve? Micah consecrated the Levite to serve and felt, now I know God will do me good since I am a priest of the race of the Levites. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it wonderful when you can get your righteousness from somebody else? You know, Doreen, I'm glad you're my sister, because she's such a good girl that makes me good. You believe that? That's what he's saying. I hired me a fella, and he's my priest. I got my own chaplain. We used to have that in the old days in Hacienderos. We have our own priest, we have our own man. I know God will do me good since I have a priest of the race of the Levites. I got one of them. This man is a traitor to the religion of the Jews. He has no right to serve here. He should be serving where? At Shiloh, where the tent of meeting is, if he's going to serve. And he has no right to ever serve before an idol. He's the one who's supposed to be condemning worship of idols. So in Judges 19, there comes, the story gets thicker. Some people from the nation of Dan, they had supposed to have won an area, but they didn't find the place. They didn't win their area. They're looking for a place to live. So they send 5 fellows around looking, and they come by it. They appear. They're looking for this new region. And they ask the Levite to give a prediction of their future, their victory. They meet him there at the house of Micah. Now these are 5 guys, Danites. And he does. He says, you're going to win. And so they go and they fall upon they go to a people who are very peaceful. And these fellows look at it and said, we can do this. Well, they said, we can do this. And so Judges 18:14, they said, you know that in these houses there is an ephod and a teraphim and a graven and a molten god. So see what you're pleased to do. These 5 Danites tell the rest of them, about 400 of them, you decide what we ought to do. Now they feel just like old Micah. If we can just get this priest for ourselves, and these 2 idols for ourselves, and these household gods for ourselves, we'll be in good shape. We got something magical with us. Alright, so they took Micah and the idols, and Micah's idols and his priest. And when Micah comes in, what are you doing? They said, you better go home or we'll kill you. So he went home, because there's more of them than there was with his family. Alright. And they said to him, hold your peace and put thy finger on thy mouth and come with us. So the priest said, that we may have thee for a father and a priest. Well, it's better for thee to be a priest in the house of one man or in a tribe and family in Israel. When he heard this, he agreed to their words and took the ephod and the idols and the graven god and departed with him. How do you like his religion? Would you like to be a part of this man's religion? I wouldn't, would you? I won't believe in that, do you? He's a scoundrel. He should have refused to go with him. Never mind. And they set up themselves the graven idol. And Jonathan, who was this man? Who was this man? Oh my goodness. Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses. He and his sons were priests of the tribe of Dan until the days of captivity. This man who did this wicked thing and serving an idol is the grandson of the man that God said you must not serve idols. This is Moses' grandson. 3 generations, and it's terrible. The idol of Micah remained with him all the time that the house of God was at Shiloh. In those days there was no king in Israel. And if you read the book of Judges, the people were very, very far from God. Gideon's call. Now this is kind of interesting. If I'm going to serve an idol, what will I get out of it? What do we really think of it? We don't wear things around our neck, do we? We don't believe in that, do we? You know, the people in Thailand believe their king is divine. Some of them don't, they want to kick him out. But the simple people, the people in the fields and all, they really think their king is a wonderful man. And you know what I was told this week? When he comes driving by, they have little amulets. And when he goes by on the road, they pull those out, thinking that something will come from him to make magic these amulets, and they wear them on their necks because it was close to their king. All right, now look here. Israel's sins had delivered them into the captivity of the Midianites. And this is what happens time after time in the book of Judges. They called out to God in penitence. They are sorry now. God's messenger calls lowly Gideon, son of Joash, to deliver his people from Midian. They're so poor, every time they start to get a crop, the Midianites come and take their crops away. And Midian's actually threshing in a hidden place so they won't steal his food. And this angel comes and greets him. Gideon's given a sign. So the angel comes to him, the angel of God comes to him, and Gideon says, if you're really the angel of God, give me a sign. So the angel said, okay. So Gideon ran to his house and he prepared some food. He brought some broth and he brought some fruit and meat. And they brought it, and the angel said, okay, put it on that rock. So he put the meat there and he poured it there, and the angel reached out with the staff he had in his hand, and it was gone. And the angel was gone, and Gideon thought he's gone. But he wasn't. You need to read this for yourself. But when he did, the angel said, don't worry. And so Gideon gives a sign which terrifies him, but because God had said you don't have anything to worry about, he named that place Yahweh Shalom, or Jehovah Shalom, which means Jehovah's peace. But there wasn't any peace yet, so Gideon has to be brave yet. But there's some conditions going to be the one who serves God. Gideon destroyed the altar of Baal of his father and cut down the sacred poles at Asherah. This idol is pretty good size. You know how we know? Because he took a big bull and he pulled it down. He had two bulls and he pulled it down. And then he did that. He cut down the sacred pole to Asherah. Then he took the second bull and he cut up that tree, that pole, made the wood and killed that animal and burned that animal as an offering to God on that Asherah's wood. He and his men did this at night because they're afraid of the people. Because those people, if you're going to destroy our idol, we're going to kill you. Isn't it funny? If there's a God in the idol, well, he protect himself. Why didn't she protect her pole? Why did he keep his image from falling down? I went to Burma, and oh man, the kings, the old generals over there try to make everybody believe they're the greatest men in the world because they really love Buddha. Brethren, they brought a Buddha that was so big, they carried it out of the mountain, the Granite Mountain. One big Buddha is like 12 meters thick, you know. I don't know how tall, very, very big. They floated it down the river on a big barge. When they got it to Yangon, they took 8 engines from the railroad to drag it to where they're going to put it. And they set it up. And when you go there, you've got to take your shoes off, you've got to take your socks off. You go in there, and here's this great big Buddha. And they got plastic all around him, plastic plates all around him, and air conditioning. Inside, not on the outside where we are. That piece of rock is air conditioned. Man, that's big. They're showing people how really powerful Buddha is. And then outside, if you want to find out your fortune, they have 2 little buildings. And under each one of them is a footprint of Buddha. And if you want to find your luck, you just throw a coin in there, and wherever it lands, it tells you. And I thought about that, and I thought, I'm going to get some luck out of the footprint of Buddha. If he's so big, how come he had to be drugged down the river in a boat? And why didn't he walk? Huh? Why didn't he walk? That's not his footprints. That's a bunch of foolishness made by human beings to trick other human beings to control them. Or am I wrong? What do you believe? He can't even keep cool himself. And they're offering things to him. And they really honestly, brethren, they believe it with all their hearts. Proskuneo, they're bowing down to him. They're serving him, they're bringing him. And not only him, but all the folks who say they believe in him. Gideon destroyed the altar to Baal of his father and cut down the sacred pole to Asherah. He killed the bull. He offered it. And he did it at night. Now the next day, the men of the city discovered the offering site and learned that Gideon has done this. Is he in trouble? So the townspeople said to Joash, that's the daddy of Gideon, bring out your son, that he may die, for he has destroyed the altar of Baal and has cut down the sacred pole that was near it. We're going to kill him for sacrilege. What was would you do if you were his daddy? That's what his daddy did. Joash replied to all who were standing around him, do you intend to act in Baal's stead? Or be his champion? If anyone acts for him, he shall be put to death by morning. If he whose altar has been destroyed is a god, let him act for himself. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Isn't that wonderful? The father said, okay, if he's a god, why are you down here angry at me? Why don't you go tell Baal to do something? Well, he can't do anything because he's lying on his face. He couldn't even keep Gideon from pulling him down. Right? So that, on that day, Gideon was called Jerubbaal, because the word that Baal take action against him since he destroyed his altar. For the meaning of that word Jerubbaal is what? That God pretended. Now, brethren, we got about enough time to know this. I don't know much about the Quran. So if anybody's from that background here, don't be offended because I don't know much about it. But I went to look because I knew there was a story in there about idolatry. And we may not agree with the Muslims about a lot of things, but we kind of got to agree with them about the idea of not being idol worshippers. But I want you to see what they teach, what they think. For truth is truth wherever you find it. Okay? Let's look at it. It's a great story here. But it's like, we don't talk this way in our translations. And I had a search on the web to get this, so, you know, don't be jumping and say, where's that all at? I don't know. I'll have to look at the Quran more. But I know this is what they say. Okay, this Y is there's three sources. So this is the Y source that they had there. And these are little numbers that they got to locate the place in their Quran where it is. So we're just going to read what's said. Lo, Abraham said to his father Azar, Take thou idols for gods? For I see thee and thy people in manifest error. So also did we show Abraham the power. We, this, by the way, because it's capitalized, they believe that's Allah. We showed Abraham the power and the laws of the heavens and the earth, that he might, with understanding, have certitude. When the night covered him over, now here he's talking about what happened to Moses, Abraham. When the night covered him over, he saw a star. He said, this is my Lord. But when he said, I love not those things that said. I don't worship something that goes out. Well, I won't disagree with that. Anybody disagree with that? Sounds pretty good to me. But when he saw the moon rising in splendor, he said, this is my Lord. And when the moon said, he said, unless my Lord guide me, I shall surely be among those who go astray. I got another problem. The moon sets. By the way, the moon wanes too, right? When he saw the sun rising, this is it. He's going to be like the Egyptians. He's going to be like the people down in South America. He's going to worship Apo Init. Do you know why I say Apo Init? Where I come from in the north, in Idolatry, you don't say Init. You don't talk, in our language, you don't talk that way because you're supposed to say Apo Init, the Lord's Son. That goes way back to our past. You call the Son Apo, which is Lord, Apo Init. So he's seeing the sun said, this is Apo Init, this is the Lord. Okay, when he saw the sun rising in splendor, he said, this is my Lord, this is the greatest of all. But when the sun set, he said, my people, I'm indeed free from your guilt of giving partners to Allah. God does not have any partners. For me, I have set my face firmly, truly towards him who created the heavens and the earth and never shall give partners to Allah. Behold, he said to his father and his people. Now this is a different thing. What worship ye? They said, we worship idols, and we remain constantly in attendance of them. We don't do that, do we? Do we? We're going to have any holidays here soon? Any cities in the Philippines where we have holidays? Any cities in America where we have holidays? Well, anyway. Okay. We worship idols and we remain constantly in attendance on them. He said, do they listen to you when you call on them? What would you think if someone went into maybe Yahweh Church and said, Jesus, Black Nazarene, I need your help today. What do you need? What would you do? Huh? What would you do? What if you were, let me tell you what happened to me. I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and I began to understand the power of idols. Because when the Americans didn't have it in the 1930s, They had work projects, and they built a Parthenon, just like the one in Athens, except our Parthenon has a top on it. And they put a great image of Athena in there. And brethren, the doors of that thing must be maybe 15, 20 meters high. Very thick and very big. And you go inside, and it's real dark, and there's just a light coming inside, and you look up and, whoa, there's Athena. She's very big up there. She's got a big spear, and she's standing there, and if you were a Greek, you'd say, oh, there's my goddess, the one who protects our city. What would happen is say, wow, Athena, how are you doing today? I'm doing very well, how are you? I would be there, wouldn't you? We don't expect that, do we? But do they listen to you? Now you've got to ask yourself, do these things I worship answer me? Do they even supply what I want? Now you know it as well as I do. We got all kinds of things we believe that we can't prove, and we're superstitious about it. We, all of us, in every country. Or do they answer you when you call? Or do they do you good, or do they harm? That's 2 years ago when they broke the arm off of the Black Nazarene. When they were carrying in the Capitol parade, what did people start saying to us? Sayang, we're going to have a year of bad luck. Wait a minute. He can't complain. He was being carried. You can't, the image cannot complain. It's not walking, you're carrying it. Don't be angry with people who drop you. Right. I'm telling you, we need to do some thinking, brethren. Or do the good or harm? Can they? They said nay, but we found our fathers doing thus. What do we do? Daddy did it, granddaddy did it, great-granddaddy did it, therefore it must be true. You believe that? He said, do you see whom you have been worshiping? You and your fathers before you. Do you see who you've been worshiping? For they are enemies to me, not so the Lord and cherisher of the world. Abraham said, they're not my friends, they're my enemies. Who created me is God, who created me, and it is He who guides me, who gives me food and drink. And when I am ill, it's He who cures me. Now, isn't that right, brethren? Now, I want you to know we have many honest, good, wonderful people in this world who believe that they have a bunch of gods in their bedroom. For my friend in Abilene, who was a Mexican, told me when my baby got sick, I went into my bedroom and I prayed to my Dios, my gods. That's what he said. No. Did they cure me? Did they cure me? Who will cause me to die? God will cause me to die, and then life again. And who, I hope, will forgive me my faults on the day of judgment? Oh, my Lord, bestow wisdom on me, and join me with the righteous. Grant me honorable mention on the tongue of truth among the later generations. Make me one of the inheritors of the garden of bliss. We bestowed aforetime on Abraham his rectitude. This is now supposed to be the deity talking. And well were we acquainted with him. Behold, he said to his father and his people. Now this is why I got all this, so we could read this. He said to his father and his people, what are these images to which you are so assiduously devoted? These people got some English I don't use very much. I don't use the word assiduously very often, but I know that means with real dedication. Okay. They said, we found our fathers worshiping them. He said, indeed, ye have been in manifest error, you and your fathers. They said, have you brought us the truth, or are you one of those who jest? Are you making fun of us? He said, nay, your Lord is the Lord of heaven and earth. He who created them from nothing, and I am a witness to this truth. And by Allah, I have a plan for your idols. After you go away and turn your back, I got a plan for your idols when you leave. That's what he's going to do. So he broke them to pieces, all but the biggest of them, that they might turn and address themselves to it. So what did he do? He smashed all their idols except one, which was the biggest one. They said, who has done this to our God? He must indeed be some man of impiety. They said, we heard a youth talk of him. He is called Abraham. No, this is not Bible history. This is Quran history, okay? They said, then bring him before the eyes of the people that they may bear witness. They said, art thou the one that did this with our gods, O Abraham? Did you do this to our gods, Abraham? There's 3 answers, and I think I got them all here. He said, nay, this was done by this their biggest of one. Ask them if they can speak intelligence. Ask the big guy. Ask the big guy. See? But this chief hath done it. He accused. The big idol killed the other idols. So question them if they can speak. You ask them if they did do it. Look at it. He said, surely some doer has done it. The chief of them is this. Therefore ask them if they can speak. Isn't that funny? They got all these idols. Abraham goes in and he smashes all the idols, but he leaves the biggest idol. And when they say to him, who did this? He said, well, ask him. He was here. And what's the answer? Doesn't it make us realize how foolish we are if we really worship idols? So they turned to themselves and said, surely you're the ones that are wrong. Then they confounded us with shame. They said, you know full well that these idols do not speak. We can't ask the big idol because he can't talk. And I want you to remember that 1 Corinthians 12 verse 1, Brother Paul said, in the past you were led aside by dumb idols. Idols that cannot speak. Abraham said, do you then worship besides Allah things that can neither be of any good to you or do you harm? Fie upon you and upon the things that you worship besides Allah. Have you no sense? Well, I don't know much about the Quran, but I kind of liked what I found there. I thought that's kind of interesting. Now I got one more passage for us to look at. Isaiah 44. And tomorrow night, we're going to go into that good section of the book of the wisdom of Abraham. I want you to look at it because it kind of, why did we ever, as human beings, why did we ever start worshiping things like the sun and the moon and the stars? Why did we ever start doing anything? And we've got to admit that people do that. All who make idols are nothing, and the things they delight in do not profit. Their witnesses neither see nor know, that they may put to shame. Who fashions a god or casts an image that is profitable for nothing? Who makes these things? No. Is there any value in making idols, brethren?
Yes.
Suppose I want to buy something new.
They make business for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer is yes, there is. You've got to believe it, because in Ephesus, when Brother Paul had trouble in Ephesus, he had been so successful in getting people to turn away from idols that the men who made silver idols could no longer sell idols of Diana. So yes, there is, but not a profit from them being powerful. But for you or I being superstitious, yes. Behold, all his fellows shall be put to shame. And the craftsmen are but men. Let them all assemble. Let them stand forth. They shall be terrified. They shall be put to shame together. The ironsmith fashions it and works it over the coals. He shapes it with hammers and forges it with his strong arm. He becomes hungry and his strength fails. He drinks no water and is faint. This guy is beating out an idol and it destroys his strength to make the idol instead of the idol giving him any strength. It's baliktad. You understand that? This is all baliktad. Backwards. Instead of the God helping you, you are making the God. Fear not, be not afraid. Have I not told you from the old and declared? And you are my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? There is no rock. I know not any. I am the only one, God says. There is nobody else. The carpenter. Okay, here now we got wooden lead made. The carpenter stretches out his line. He marks it with a pencil. He fashions it with planes and marks it with a compass. He shapes it into the figure of a man with the beauty of a man to dwell in a house. He cuts down cedars, or he chooses a home tree and an oak and lets it grow strong among the trees of the forest. He plants a cedar and the rain nourishes it. This guy is busy making idols. Okay. Then it becomes fuel for what? It becomes fuel for man. He takes a part of it and warms himself. He kindles the fire and breaks bread. Also he makes a god and worships it. He makes it a graven image and falls down before it. Huh? Right. We took it the other night. some of that wood out there on the street. We're going to take some of that street wood on the street where I live, and we're going to take a piece of that wood, and we're going to chop it up, and I'm going to take all the chips there, and I'm going to go in the back, and I'm going to barbecue a chicken. I'm going to have and then at the same time, I'm going to get busy, and I'm going to put little eyes in it, and I'm going to put little ears on it, and I'm going to make it like this, and I'm going to paint it red, and maybe it's not going to sit there good, so I'm going to knock a hole in the wall, and I'm going to set it there, and I'm going to put a spam around it so it can't fall. And so from that same thing I've been so wonderfully made, I can cook my food, and I can make my God. And I'm going to fall down and worship it. Half of it he burns in the fire. Over the half he eats flesh. He roasts meat and is satisfied. Also he warms himself and says, aha, I am warm. I have seen the fire. There's more strength in the fire than there is in the oil. And the rest of it he makes into a God, his idol. He falls down to it and worships it. He prays it and says, deliver me, for thou art my God. They know not, nor do they discern. For he has shut their eyes so that they cannot see, and their minds so they cannot understand. We are doing contradictory things. Don't you love the story of Jonah? Jonah thought God was a God that only could walk on land. And he got on a boat and he found out God could control the sea. And everybody in the boat knew somebody was making the storm. And Jonah, who didn't want anybody to know he was a servant of God and didn't want to serve God, had to say, I'm the one. What's the reason? I'm running away from my God. He's the one who created the heavens and the earth, the air and the sea. You can't run away from God, and that's why he got thrown overboard. So he's the one that made everything. You can't get away from the real God. All right. No one considers, nor is there knowledge or discernment to say, half of I've earned the fire. I baked bread on its coals. I roasted fish and have eaten. Shall I make the residue of it an abomination? Shall I fall down beside a block of wood? He feeds on ashes. A deluded mind has led him astray, and he cannot deliver himself. Or say, is there not a lie in my right hand? Now let's not be foolish. This is very attractive. Idols are very, very attractive. All of us like to have one or two. Because our grandfathers and our grandmothers told us that they would guard off things. In the time when we knew that people had a birthmark, because grandmother threw water out the window when it was hot and hit a spirit, and the spirit punished us by giving a birthmark. Was that true? We know that's true, because great-grandmother told us so. And that's not just Philippine superstition, American superstition, all of us. We are not that kind of people. We worship the one true God who is powerful, and He can help us on the trip. But a piece of wood that's nailed to a wall so it won't fall down can't help you on the trip. Huh? Right? A piece of wood that's nailed to a house cannot save you when the house burns down. All these things we need to be thinking of. So, what are we going to do? Now, we didn't talk about anything we do, but remember, those people who made those images were not making images of false gods. What were they trying to do? Make a representation of the one true God. And they would have told you that we are making this so that we can better concentrate upon our God. And we worship through this thing to God. Is that correct? But the truth is, we soon forget about God, and I start telling you, if you'll just go with me to this town, I'll show you a place where there's much more magic. You can have a miracle there, because this is a place of milagro. We do it here, we do it everywhere, and that is very much open to debate. Thank you all very much. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the idea of reverence. Okay, respect, reverence, respect, worship, adoration, service, all those things. Brother Larry, you want to say some more? Thank you all.